Hello my friends, welcome back to Meerkat Musings, welcome back to the Meerkat Prompt series, and welcome back to a video, as once again I try to get back into the habit of being a multi-channel meerkat. And today's prompt asks the question, what would be my dream home? Now, if we're focusing specifically on the bricks and mortar here, then I will confess that my thoughts and desires on dream home tend to flip-flop a little bit. I can certainly imagine a reasonable sized house, bigger than what I've got now, with perhaps a kind of like sort of library room / office, a nook with a desk and a sofa where I could read and write in peace. I can certainly imagine more elaborate properties with, shall we say, lots of opulence and luxury. For example, a cinema room that would double up as a gaming centre would be fantastic. Just, the thought of playing The Legend of Zelda on maybe not something quite as big as a full-blown cinema screen, but something approximating that would be pretty damn amazing, if you ask me personally. So I'd certainly relish an opportunity like that. I would like my own swimming pool, because I think certainly in the summer in particular, it'd be nice to jump in the pool and just splash around, bob around in the water. And accompanying that would be perhaps a jacuzzi or a steam room or something along those lines, perhaps to enjoy as well, because why not? Beyond, I suppose these are the standard things, aren't they, that you kind of expect people to kind of want, and I do want them. I think beyond that, just a reasonable sized kitchen. I mean, I'm not a particularly great cook, and I wouldn't necessarily do loads of cooking, but to have the option, to have the space, to have a fully stocked pantry, so to speak, and it's that kind of thing, like a walk-in pantry where you can just grab what you need off the shelf. Brilliant, wonderful, fantastic. And just a decent-sized, big, cozy living room with enough seating for people to kind of like sort of relax in. A kind of like balcony dining area would be quite nice, particularly in the summer. I'm not necessarily too fussed as to the size of the garden. I'm not someone who particularly cares for gardening. I can't stand it for the most part, so I wouldn't necessarily desire a big garden unless we happen to have a housekeeper to look after it. But it's something I could admire, I guess. I don't mind sort of flowers like daffodils and tulips perhaps being sort of planted around, but I wouldn't want to be hands-on in the garden. But I suppose I wouldn't mind a decent garden. It's just, as I say, I'm not someone that would be particularly thrilled at having to maintain it, and that's where I'd let myself down. I'd really need someone to look after it for me. What else? A comfortable sized bedroom, of course, with maybe a slightly bigger bed. Would that go amiss? Although, to be fair, a double tends to be fine. Don't tend to sort of have any problems with that. I think I would definitely treat myself to some particularly luxurious bathroom designs. I mean, this house, subject to its size, could have a bathroom and an ensuite. And, potentially it could have more than one ensuite. Who knows? But I'd certainly, based upon my experience in that arena, I would be kitting that out in such a way that I would find comfortable, spacious, decent storage, and a place to really kind of like relax into, whether it's an early morning shower or a soak in a really comfortable bathtub in the evenings. That's something I would most definitely have in my home, without a doubt. And I suppose these are the kind of things that everyone wants for a dream home. I guess it comes down to style as to whether you want to do something more modern, and you get some ultra modern, kind of very elaborate properties these days with big sort of glass fronts and that kind of thing. Some of them I think actually look quite stylish, but I'm not entirely certain they're for me. Then you get more traditional kind of stuff, the English country home. They can be really sort of fantastic and rustic in their own right. They're the sort of environment that I'd kind of sort of desire for, the sake of having that kind of big personal library and that kind of thing. So that would be kind of very much my dream if I'm going down that route. Although, truth be told, I could be happy in either scenario. Much of it would be based upon the creature comforts inside the house, and I think I've kind of listed those. In terms of things like, how far do you want to go into this? How much detail do we want? In terms of things like, say, colour scheme, I'm open to sort of bright colours in bathrooms and kitchens. I might want a more kind of muted, more kind of, I guess, subdued palette in places like living rooms and bedrooms, because my view would be these are places you go to relax, and kind of I'd want a soothing environment in those spaces. So I guess that's kind of what I'd angle for in that regard. But I don't think there's anything particularly exceptional with my idea of a dream home. One thing that I think could be quite interesting, and I know that my wife would like this, would be the notion of building in some secret passages, kind of like the sort of things you would see in Lara Croft's mansion in the games. A passageway behind a staircase, that kind of thing. Not for sinister purposes, obviously, but the sort of gimmick that would be quite fun, entertaining for guests, that kind of thing. That could also maybe grant you an escape route to a more private nook in the house, if you so desired it. And potentially an escape route if, God forbid, touch wood, anything kind of dangerous happened. I don't know. But I'd certainly go in for a lot of that. I'd probably also want a decent-sized wine cellar. I'm not particularly a massive wine drinker, but have I had the space? I'd ponder it, and I could put beer in there, couldn't I? So I think something along those lines would probably be desirable as well. And I guess that's it, really. I don't really have any other big thoughts as to what a dream home would be. Well, I tell you what, I have one more thought, and I actually don't know what I'd do with this. Would I want this to be a smart home? Would I want and need this to be a home where I can sort of say lights on, or TV on, that kind of thing? I don't know, in all honesty. I suspect it would be a fun gimmick at first, and I suspect that would soon get boring. I think the indulgence of that would wear off, I think, after a while, but you never know. Maybe it's something I'd incorporate and then forget about, which would be very, very me, in all fairness. That really is it. I can't think of anything else to say on the subject of a dream home that I haven't already covered. Ultimately, I guess the thing that I'd want and need is a comfortable space, a space that could be useful for reading and writing, because I like to do some of that. A place that could fulfill my video game needs and TV needs. Well, like I say, cinema room would be perfect for that. And other than that, just an environment that's comfortable and devoid of stress. What about you? What would be your dream home? Please leave a comment if you have some thoughts on that subject. Until then, take care, and we'll chat again really soon.